Yes, I know. Sorry. I'll watch that one. This week. Fine. Definitely. Did you watch it again though?
No.
No.
On Radio Player and on 106.6 FM.
Monday Movies on Wickham Sound 106.6 FM.
Good evening, welcome to Monday Movies, another hour of film chat brought to you by your friends at Wickham Sound and live from various bedrooms around Buckinghamshire. Luke, who is currently sat in front of a lake. Hello, Luke.
Just going to go for a swim.
Careful you don't fall in. Visual comedy, perfect for the radio. And Toby is in Jarvis Cross. Good evening, Toby.
Good evening.
How are we both?
Good, thank you very much, Lee.
Good.
Please don't tell me that either of you were on the streets of London on Saturday night, lagered up.
No, not at all.
Good.
No.
Glad to hear it. I thought I didn't see you while I was out.
Hey.
Hey.
No.
I don't, and none of our listeners would have been because they're far too sensible.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Monday Movies with added sport because 7:30 this evening, Wycombe Wanderers kick off against Fleetwood in the second leg of the playoffs.
Well done.
Winners obviously go through to the championship.
No, they've got to play Oxford or Portsmouth.
They've got to play Oxford or Portsmouth. When
Wembley.
they've done that, then they go through to the championship. Is that correct?
Pretty much correct. I'm proud of you, Duncan. Well done.
Thank you very much.
On that note,
yeah.
just very quickly, Oxford Portsmouth still 1-1. They're into extra time. That's the latest.
Okay, so we'll update you on that as that goes on, and if anything happens in the Wycombe game between 7:30 and 8, we will let you know what's happening, and if not, Colin will update you during Chatsworth, and Bob will join Colin at some point for a post-match debrief.
Yes.
Is that right?
It's
all very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Should we just do sport?
Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a cricketer. What was your position?
What, every time you're bringing up this joke. My position was catching.
Yeah, which isn't a position.
No,
but okay.
More on that later.
Toby, what's your sport of choice?
Probably football.
Okay.
I don't know. I like to watch rugby, but I'm not very good at it.
If you had to play one sport, what would it be?
Maybe football or golf. I don't know.
Football or golf? Okay, good. Luke?
Cricket. Or golf. Actually,
can you play golf?
I can play. I've never played proper golf, but I think I'd be. I think it's quite fun.
Right.
You're good at golf, though, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the least fun game you can think of. I mean, it's fun if you play. It's fun if you're playing well. Yeah. If you're not playing well, it's the worst sport in the world. Yeah,
what would you play, Duncan?
Golf or snooker?
Ooh, snooker.
Nothing with a lot of exercise involved, obviously. I mean, snooker particularly because you can have a pint by your side while you're playing. Yeah. So, anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about movies. If you want to get involved, you can. We're on Twitter at Wickham Sound. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Wixo Monday Movies, or you can email mondaymovies@wickhamsound.org.uk.
Or comment on the live video. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Of course, we're live. Hi, everybody. We're live. You'll notice for our live listeners that Toby has reverted to his natural hair colour. All in the world as well. Yes. It's good. Did you do that yourself, or did you make most of hairdressers being open?
No, I had to get a hairdresser to do it.
Okay,
I couldn't do it myself. But Well,
we saw your last effort at dyeing your hair yourself, so no, good. On today's show, we'll take a look at when cinemas will be reopening, because after us going on and on about what day they would be reopening, the day after they changed their minds.
It's our fault.
We'll have what films are coming out when they reopen, and then we'll have what we've been watching, which will include the likes of Dark, Penny Dreadful, and Hamilton.
Ooh.
Which isn't a film, but...
No.
It's a big release on Disney Plus.
We've got nothing else to talk about.
There's no films to talk about. So we're just making the most of a bad job, basically.
Exactly.
And when we speak about Hamilton, we will have a special guest.
Ooh.
Amy will be here from Amy's Musical Soundtracks. Is that... No, that's not what it's called.
That's spot on, yeah.
Amy's Musical Soundtracks, she'll be here because she's an expert.
She is.
And she may admonish me the way she did when I dissed Frozen 2.
I mean, you were wrong.
Not. Let's not go there. Okay, so let's start with when cinemas reopening. So we made a big deal. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Some news.
news.
We made a big deal last week of saying that cinemas are opening on July the 10th, I think it was. That was when they're reopening. And we made a good argument for the fact that they're doing it early so that they could get used to people coming in and they can practice so they're not overwhelmed when the big films start arriving. And the next day, they changed their minds.
I mean, it wasn't even the next day. It was at midnight.
Oh, was it? So,
yeah. So they literally listened to us and went, "You know what? That's a really good idea."
No, they think that. No, they obviously thought the idea was bad because they changed it.
No, but we said that what I said in the podcast. Why don't they just open at the end? Because there's nothing coming out until August.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but they have got this library of films that they could have shown, and now they're not bothering.
Is anyone going to?
I don't know. Some cinemas did open last week.
I was going to say.
Some independent cinemas.
Everyman are open, I believe. Everyman cinemas are up and running. I think, they're just showing this library of films that they've got. So
I think maybe cinemas like the Everyman and the Curzon, which are more slightly highbrow, I suppose.
I haven't seen a Curzon. I don't. Where are
they?
They're
similar to They're similar to Everyman, but I think they don't have the same kind of clientele, maybe, and social distancing isn't such a problem.
I know
a little bit more.
It's nice. I mean, I doubt they're doing, because I think when you said, Toby, when you were there, food would be delivered to you. I don't know they'll be doing that in a minute, but nice seating and everything.
Anyway, Cineworld announced that they would now be reopening on July 31st, so in about 3 weeks' time. And that was quickly followed by View Cinemas. They're going to be reopening on July 31st as well. And I think Empire is the same.
Yeah.
So all the major chains are now opening on July 31st rather than July the 10th. So we've got another 3 weeks to wait.
Yeah, even cinemas in America pushed back. I think AMC are now opening on the 15th of July. So, everyone's pushing back because there's no point, really.
Well, I suppose. But like I said, to practice.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That's
true.
Anyway, so what can you watch when the cinemas open?
What can you watch?
What can you watch? Well, 31st of July, the only big release is Unhinged, which is a new thriller with Russell Crowe. So there's nothing much out that week at all. Nothing out much on the 7th of August either, the week after. But the 12th of August is Tenet.
At the minute.
The one that everyone has been waiting for.
The film that would not move, that moved.
That moved twice.
Yeah,
so that's the big one. So, Luke and Toby, will you be going to the cinema to see Tenet?
No.
You're still no?
Still no.
Yeah, I think I will.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Yeah. Well, they're looking for any escape at the minute.
Yeah, they're opening midweek because they said they want it to open on a Wednesday, so it's not, as the pub should have done, not on a Saturday, so everyone's cramming in there on the same day. So it's like a staggered open.
And especially, again, they've got to test, to make sure everything works.
They could have been doing that for the next 3 weeks.
That's true.
If they'd listened to my advice.
But they went with mine.
Yes, they did. So that's Tenet, which is on the 12th of August. The same week on the Friday, Bill and Ted 3, Face the Music, and The Secret Garden. Then you've got to wait till the 28th of August for anything, and that's The New Mutants, which, to be honest, has been delayed by 2.5 years already.
That's the one that Fox was going to release ages ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I think, no one's really cares about The New Mutants, I don't think. Then, Toby, 4th of September is the date for your diary. That's when A Quiet Place 2
Yes,
hits
I will
the
be seeing
cinemas.
that.
You'll definitely be seeing that, won't you?
Definitely be seeing that. Yep.
Good. Excellent. Dream Horse, which was delayed from earlier this year, is the 4th of September. Conjuring 2 is the 11th. The King's Man is I've lost it.
You've lost it.
16th.
Finally, it's happened. Duncan's lost it.
16th of September is The King's Man. Now, will you be going to see that? Because that one does have your boyfriend in it.
It does have Taron Egerton in it. Maybe by September, yeah.
Maybe by September,
yeah.
Okay. There's Candyman is on the 25th of September. Wonder Woman, 2nd of October. Death on the Nile on the 9th of October.
And again, we're saying all these. Who knows what might happen in a month's
time? Oh, they could all
time.
change.
They could all change once again.
Yeah, I mean, look at Leicester. They're not going. They probably won't have cinemas opening on the 31st. And of course, the two big ones for the later in the year is Black Widow on the 28th of October. Excuse me. And No Time to Die, the first film to move back in February or March
or whenever it was. Yeah.
When we sat there in the studio and scoffed at them moving their film.
Oh, there's obviously something wrong with the film,
Yes, they haven't finished it. I mean, to be honest, that could still have been the reason.
I mean,
originally.
It could have been, yeah, but
And this has just given them an extra 3 months to complete the film.
Yeah.
But so that's the end of the year. So there we go. Cinemas reopening 31st of July.
Unless they change again tomorrow.
Unless they change again tomorrow, yes, which hopefully they won't.
I
just wanted, if I may, play something for you.
Oh yes, play something.
Okay.
It's gone.
Oh. What was
no,
it?
there we go. I'm just going to play something for you because, as well as being one of my favourite pieces of music from a soundtrack, there is a reason we are playing this. It's not a good reason, but
no.
Are we going to church?
This, my friend, is the rather excellent soundtrack to The Mission. Which you may recognise, really. Do you recognise this?
Kind of.
Yeah?
Yeah, kind of.
It's a very famous piece of music. Anyway, it was composed by the Italian composer Ennio Morricone, and unfortunately he passed away today at the age of 91. He was most famous probably for this, and he also did the soundtrack to most of Clint Eastwood's spaghetti westerns, so The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, things like that. So yes, actually, the one very famous one, if you like, is of course the whistling from The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, which is refusing.
Which sounds just like...
which is refusing to play.
Would you like some help?
Yeah.
Oh.
Look,
You could be driving.
No.
No, you could be driving your car, but why would you be? Go on, help me with that.
He doesn't want to play, Duncan.
He doesn't want to play.
I'm sorry. Doesn't want to play. It's not having it.
Okay, we're not having that then. Oh, there we go.
Oh, I love working from home.
So that's the theme from The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, which of course
Obviously,
he did as well. He did the theme to Cinema Paradiso, Once Upon a Time in America. Hundreds of film scores he did. He's very well respected. He won his first Oscar only a couple of years ago, but he sadly passed away at the age of 91 today. Very sad.
It's very sad. Very sad. Yeah.
It's very sad. But 91, let's be honest, it's not. It's unfortunate. But he had a good innings. What is it with cricket puns today and stuff? I can't help it. I'm just Mr. Sport.
You are Mr. Sport.
So I'm using sports punnery.
Talking of, it's still 1-1 in the Oxford-Portsmouth game.
And so they're kind of halfway through extra time.
Yes,
now.
one minute of added time just being added, and Bob's just taken some photos from Adams Park as well, so you can see those on our Twitter account.
Excellent. A couple more bits of film news. Jennifer Hudson is starring as Aretha Franklin in the new film Respect. The trailer was released late last week, and it looks very good.
Does look very, very good.
It does.
She's got a good set of pipes on her.
She's known for that, yeah. I think she's perfect.
Yes, so that looks very good. As a musician, Toby?
Yeah, very good.
Yes?
Looks very good.
A fan of Aretha?
Very good. Yes.
Do you RESPCT her work?
Oh, nice.
I
nice.
do, yeah. I do, yes.
Sport, music, films. There's nothing.
Nothing
I cannot do. Yes, so that's
that's it. Done. Ending.
That's it. That's done. Also, something we posted on the Facebook page this morning. I don't know if you saw it, which was the Tom Cruise 2020 presidential campaign announcement.
I did watch this.
Have you watched this, Luke?
I haven't. No.
You need to watch it. So if you can watch it sometime before the end of the show, or we'll talk about it, because it's not what you think it is, and it's very clever. It fooled me. Did it fool you, Toby?
Yeah. Well, I think I don't want to say anything because Luke hasn't seen it. So,
I mean, I assumed it was digital. I assumed it was the digital effects thing.
Yeah, well,
but it's not.
I can't say what I'm going to say without Luke watching it. Really.
No. So, Luke, you can watch that at some point, and we can discuss it later. But
I've got it lined up.
Okay, but it's very clever. Very clever. And actually, I don't know why it's just resurfaced because it's from last year.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it was done last year, and I think.
I saw this last year.
All right, welcome to the party.
I
think it was it's resurfaced because is it Kanye West who's announced he's
wow, look at you
running for president?
Yeah.
Well, you see, I don't think he is. I think he's probably got an album coming out called 2020.
Is that what
this is just a very elaborate
plan
marketing campaign.
We've had a message in from Mr. Rob Lesperance, who said, "Evening team. Any Netflix suggestions for me and Mrs. L?" Well, stay tuned.
Stay tuned to what we've been watching. What was that?
What?
Oh, sorry, there was a very strange noise. Okay, yes, there are some Netflix recommendations coming up very shortly. But yeah, so the Tom Cruise thing, the thing about it, if you haven't seen it, it's Tom Cruise running constantly, talking about why he would make a great president, and citing all the films because of all the jobs he's done. He's been a pilot, he's been a thing. And it does look like Tom Cruise, and I thought it was that deep fake technology. But it's not. He's just a Tom Cruise impersonator. He just happens to be a very, very good one.
Yeah. Well, I saw. I think I'm pretty sure it's the same guy do literally this, and he was going up to people and talking. But I think it might have been that deep fake thing which you were just talking about. I saw that about 2 years ago. So as soon as the camera got near his face, I was like, "Oh, it's the same guy."
No, it's very good.
But for a second, I did think Tom Cruise might be going for president. I was like, wow.
So did I. I thought, well, people would vote for him, wouldn't they?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, if him or Tom Hanks stood for president.
Easily.
Tom Hanks.
We could have two Toms, president and vice president.
Tom.
The Tom Tom Club. That's one for the 80s listeners there. They were a very good band.
Yeah.
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 Google them.
Okay.
I think one of them was in Talking Heads.
Right. Okay.
Look at you, music, sport.
There's no beginning.
You're so talented.
I'm going to throw a curveball later.
Sorry?
I'm going to throw a curveball later.
Oh, is that? Are you actually going to, or is that just a sports metaphor you're using?
No, I'm just trying to think of something you have no idea about.
Oh, okay.
Know about.
I really don't think there is anything, but feel free to have a go.
Wow.
What? I've got to blow my own trumpet. No one else is going to do it for me.
That's true.
Coming up, it's going to be what we've been watching.
Love music, love talk, love. Award-winning Wickham Sound.
Have you ever played
cricket? I haven't, but why have they taken so long to come back? Mostly, if you're a cricketer, you're stood in a field twiddling your thumbs for an hour and a half, aren't you, really?
Why have you never played cricket? It's the perfect sport for you.
It's like a book. I'd just be sitting on the boundary with a nice book, and if someone have to shout...
The ball's coming, quickly catch. Yeah. I mean, I used to play cricket quite a lot, but...
Did you?
Yeah.
What was your speciality?
Very good at catching. Why are you laughing at me not being... Do you think I can't catch?
No, it said you used to play cricket a lot, and I said, what was your speciality? You said, I was a good catcher. I don't believe that's a position in cricket.
No, but the fielding also means running, and I'm terrible at that.
So as long as they didn't hit the ball close to you, you wouldn't catch it, because you would never run and catch.
No,
it had to be very specific conditions for you to be good at cricket, wasn't it?
Had to be also warm as well and sunny.
Okay.
Drive time. Back tomorrow from 4. This is Wickham Sound.
Is there no end to the sport on today's show? There
What's
was
going on?
Some cricket from Luke. I can't hear you, Luke.
Oh, sorry. What's going on?
There we go. There you go. Professional as ever.
As always.
Were you muted?
No, I wasn't at all.
Were you not? Okay. Welcome back to Monday Movies here. Monday Movies Sport / music
Breaking news.
Oh yeah, has there been a goal?
No, Wickham Wanderers game has been delayed due to the other game running into extra time.
Oh, does that mean we don't get to do anything with it?
We might not get any goals. No.
Have they done that on purpose? Has Bob been speaking to Gareth?
Don't let them on. Don't let
slipped him a $5 and said, just delay it just by half an hour, just to annoy them. Okay.
No, that's what it is.
Okay. It's time for...
What we've been watching. What we've been watching. watching. Every week you do
We've
that, I'm not
all
ready.
been watching. If you want to get involved, if you want to let us know what you've been watching, you can. We're on Twitter at Wickham Sound. You can email mondaymovies@wickhamsound.org.uk or go to facebook.com/Wixo Monday Movies. We're going to start with the biggest release of the week,
which is
Hamilton. So it's not even a film,
No.
to be honest. It is a filmed performance of Hamilton the musical. It was filmed it's from the original Broadway run. It was actually going to be shown at cinemas, as a lot of these filmed musicals are, but because of one thing and another, they've decided to go straight to Disney Plus, or should I say, Disney Plus paid an awful lot of money so they could have it exclusively, which is fine, because now I don't have to pay £100 a ticket to go into London to see Hamilton. If you don't know what it is, it tells the real life story of one of America's foremost founding fathers and the first Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton. The performance was captured live on Broadway from the Richard Rogers Theatre with the original Broadway cast, which included Daveed Diggs, Jonathan Groff, Leslie Odom Jr. and the writer of the musical, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Very nice.
Okay, so we got a special guest in the studio as well. I was going to say we've got a special guest in the bedroom, but that sounds seedy, doesn't it? Luke's got a guest in his bedroom.
Hey!
Oh no, actually, you're a guest in that bedroom.
That's
so
true,
yeah,
yeah.
Okay. We have from Amy's Musical Soundtracks. It's Amy.
Hey!
Hi, Amy.
Hello.
We've got you because you're an expert on musicals. It is your area of expertise. So, firstly, had you seen the West End version of Hamilton?
I had never seen Hamilton. I'd listened to the soundtrack, but I'd never seen it.
Right. Okay. So, should we start? Let's start with Luke.
So, I've also listened to the soundtrack. Amy's played a couple of tracks on her show, and there was a few songs that I like, and I won't spoil it because it's my favourite part of the show. I thought that the production was excellent. I thought the staging was really good, all the lights and stuff like that. I feel like the story, on the other hand, I don't know if it was just going too fast or just because I spent most of it on Wikipedia, like trying to work out who all these people were.
You could have done that before it started.
Well, I could have.
Or paused it while you did that.
Well, yeah, I could have. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
But again, I'm kind of glad that I saw it on Disney Plus, and people that had seen it in the West End enjoyed it more on Disney Plus. And I don't know if that's because there's so much going on stage that you get a better angle on Disney Plus.
Okay. Well, I googled some of the plot, so I knew what was going on before it started. But I had no interest in going to see Hamilton at all. I like a good musical, and I go and see quite a lot, but I had no interest in going to see Hamilton whatsoever. And then you see people on Twitter and on Facebook saying it's one of the most important works of art of the 20th century, and it's a transcendental experience, and people were going to see it over and over again. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it, but it wouldn't make my top 10 musicals of all time.
Agree.
I struggled at the start with the rapping because I was really struggling to hear what they were saying. I mean, I have that problem anyway when I go to musicals.
Okay, so you just need a hearing aid? Is that what the problem is?
No, I honestly struggled, and the two people who were with me were also struggling. And as somebody pointed out the next day, why didn't you just put the subtitles on? Oh, duh. Could have done that, which would have been good. But no, I followed the story. I thought the staging was strangely simple for a big Broadway show, because
that was kind of nice.
Yeah, there's no big set changes. There's just a one ladder on wheels that gets moved about. Apart from that, nothing really changes. I thought the performances were all really good. I thought the first half was much better than the second half. I started to lose interest very slightly in the second half for some reason. I thought the first half had a lot more to it. And I think if there was a weak link, and I hate to say this for Hamilton fans, it was Lin-Manuel Miranda. I think everybody else in it was so good, and their voices were so good. And I know he wrote it, and he's entitled to put himself in his own production, but I didn't think his voice was as strong as everybody else's voices.
I'll let Amy say something about her thoughts.
What do you think?
I didn't expect to like it. I have taken a long time to like the soundtrack. and even then it was only a few songs that I did like, but I absolutely loved it. I thought that for a piece of theatre, it was excellent. The staging, the lighting, I didn't think it needed a complex set, because it did that through the lighting and through the positioning of the actors and everything on stage. But I do agree with you that Lin-Manuel Miranda is the weakest link.
Is it bad that I kept just hearing Kermit the Frog?
Why?
Don't know.
You think he sounded like Kermit the Frog?
Did you think like this?
Yeah, that was a terrible impression of Kermit the Frog.
It was.
But yeah, every time I heard him, I just could hear Kermit the Frog. But I don't know if that's because I've heard him. I mean, he's in Mary Poppins, and he's good. So I don't know if that's just the way he was playing it. I don't know. It's an interest because they're not really singing; they're rapping. So I just thought he was the least good. Yeah,
I would say Jonathan Groff was the strongest for me. He stole the show. In my
he
opinion.
did, but I kept thinking. I did say to the people I was watching with, I said I wouldn't particularly want his role because he only gets to come on like 3 times, so most of his night is spent sitting backstage. I didn't know if maybe when there was somebody less famous playing in that role, whether they would then double up and play other people elsewhere. Oh.
But the thing is with him playing King George III, is that is kind of one of the bits that everyone knows. The song that he does, which is called "You'll Be Back." You went to West End Live, and he said the opening bit, and everyone was singing along to it. Whereas I think with other songs in Hamilton, he wouldn't necessarily have that effect. But everyone sort of in the West End circle knows that song, so he is sort of like the highlight for most people on Hamilton. He's the highlight of mine. That song is brilliant, the way he plays it as well.
I mean, with the close-ups, you almost got to feel the spittle.
A lot of people were saying because there's a little bit of dribble.
There's a lot of dribble from Jonathan.
I think that was a one-off. He did it by accident, and he thought, "Oh, this wasn't filmed. I'll get away with this 4 years ago." And then today, obviously, everyone's like, "Oh my goodness."
He's normally when he was in Glee and other things. He doesn't spit when he's singing, but he definitely did on that performance.
But then King George was mad, so maybe it adds to the character.
He was, yes. So, Amy, will you be going to see this at the theatre if they ever reopen?
Yes, but I would buy probably a cheaper ticket because I think the tickets are ridiculously expensive.
They are.
One of my friends, I think, won.
Oh, sorry, I forgot Toby was there.
Sorry, no, I was going to say, one of my friends, she loves musicals and stuff, and this is her favourite theatre production. But also, another one of my friends in the same friendship group, he actually won tickets to go and see. I think every month they do a raffle or something.
They do a lottery, yeah.
They do like a lottery. Thank you. Yeah. Lottery, and he was lucky enough to win, so he went for free.
I have to say,
maybe you should do that if you don't want to pay for tickets.
That's good. I was tapping along to the music, but again, I don't know if it's just because it was rapping. I just couldn't follow it.
Well, no, and that's why I might watch it again with the subtitles on.
Yeah. I think if you watch it the second time round, you would enjoy it more, I think.
Yes, probably. I mean, there was one scene which I thought was really good, which is when he meets his wife for the first time, and it rewinds and shows you the exact same scene from a different perspective. I thought that was really, really clever. There was something else.
There's it's not a spoiler, it's history. Alexander Hamilton dies at the end, and the person that plays the bullet, and I read this afterwards, every time someone is about to die in the production, she's the person that will give them like a stool or something, or a pen. She's like the last, and there's lots of things like that you wouldn't notice. You wouldn't notice at all if you watched it at the West End, but you would kind of pick up more watching it again. I mean, I didn't notice that until I read it, but yeah, I think
there was a couple of things I didn't quite. Sorry, I thought.
No, go on. I finished.
There was a couple of things I didn't quite understand his significance. Other people seem to be more important to the history of America than he did to me, and he's not particularly nice.
Yeah.
He doesn't come across as
There's a lot of criticism going around at the minute about why Disney have chosen now to release this.
Yeah, it's again, look into history, everybody. It isn't the best time to bring it out because history was there's a lot of history that you don't see on stage about all of the characters really. Yeah,
but he just doesn't come across as a particularly nice person.
No.
So I didn't get too emotional. I wasn't, I didn't cry. I didn't get that emotionally involved because I didn't like him, so I didn't particularly care.
Yeah, I see what you
was
mean.
happening to him so much. Do you know what I mean?
There was a nice bit, and I think you read this afterwards.
What, the end?
The end.
No, the end's nice. When his wife Eliza steps forward, and she takes a big gasp, and everyone kind of presumes that that's like her last dying breath kind of thing, because she outlives Hamilton and everything. And she tells his story, but actually it's her breaking the fourth wall and realising that there's an audience watching the musical and telling his story, which I thought was quite a nice little touch.
It's nice and different as well.
Yeah.
There was two things I was going to say, and I can't remember what they both were now. Talking of the audience, I was quite surprised it being a New York audience and this being in the opening run when all the hype was around. They seemed quite subdued.
Yeah, because I think in Broadway...
I expected more... Woo, woo, woo!
Yeah, in Broadway,
I mean?
it's a completely different audience. And I thought maybe when the King, the King, as I said, the most, I would say, famous song from it, I thought there would possibly be... You'd be able to hear a bit more singing. Now, again, I don't know if there was and they've just turned it down because, they would have mic'd up everything.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to the cinema and the theatre in America, and it's completely different from here because, I mean... In the theatre, they obviously know their real people, so they think they can talk to them. Yeah. And in the cinema, they seem to think they can hear them, so they talk to them. So it's very, I just think it seemed quite subdued. I didn't know why.
I reckon that everything would have been mic'd. There's a behind the scenes of Hamilton with one of them from Mythbusters. I can't think what his name is. And he goes around and like all the production stuff, and it already is mic'd heavily. And I would imagine for the production, I mean, there would have been less audience. When
they would have known that they would have been recording that audience, so they probably would have chosen specific people to be in that audience, perhaps more celebrities or people like that.
And when they filmed Kinky Boots at the Adelphi, they took out most of the seating in the bottom. So again, I mean, it was more cameras in this one, so it was probably a less audience.
And the other thing I could have done with just a little bit less editing. When the big numbers and the dance routines, I would have preferred a static camera head on because you didn't quite. There was a couple of where the dance routines, it was like it's like in Britain's Got Talent when there's a dance group on and they keep cutting to the audience and the judges. And you're like, no, just concentrate on the dancing.
They used one camera angle, which was really odd, and they only used it once, and that was from the back of the stage looking out, which I thought was
they used that. They used that a few times.
Oh, did they? Which I think is a really weird camera angle.
Yes, because it wasn't a good. Look, and they used that 3 or 4 times, and then they used an overhead camera 2 or 3 times.
I mean, the overhead one is fine, but why do you don't want to look at the audience?
No, I think maybe it was just to say, "Oh, look, there is an audience.
there are people there."
Anyway, I think we all agree we'd recommend it.
I would agree. It should come with the warning that it's nearly 3 hours long.
Yes, and if you're a purist and you've been to see Hamilton on the stage, you will not get the F-bomb on the Disney version because they've been edited. 2 of them have been edited out. 1 quite badly.
It's interesting though because Lin-Manuel Miranda was saying people were going, are they going to censor it? There's other words that I thought Disney would censor in it, and apparently you're allowed 1 F to make it a PG-13. So that's what you get. But there's other things because when it was announced it was going on Disney Plus, I was like, really? But there we go.
I'd ask you what the other words were, but I don't. I
can't say no. That's the point. We can't say them on here, so I'm surprised. No. Squeaky clean Disney.
We could.
Well, we could.
Shall I?
No. But squeaky clean Disney. You would think they wouldn't want them on there.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there was a trade-off between him and Lin-Manuel Miranda. He would have had some artistic control,
and that's why he's on Mary Poppins.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, that is Hamilton. It's available to stream for free if you have Disney Plus, and I think we all agree we would recommend it. Out of 10. Amy, out of 10.
I would say 9.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say 8.
I would say 8 as well. Yes.
I have some football news.
That segues lovely from Hamilton into football.
Thank you. Oxford United versus Portsmouth now going into penalties.
Oh,
quite
thrilling.
A dull game.
Okay, that is Hamilton. Amy, thank you very much.
Woo!
Nice to have a professional on the show for a change, isn't it?
Exactly.
Someone who knows what they're...
Someone who knows that they're talking about. We can't hear you, Duncan. You've gone again. Are you back?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're back. You're back, Duncan.
I wasn't speaking.
Oh, no, you cut out at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Do you know who we haven't spoken to for quite some time?
Who's that?
Toby Stubbs.
Toby!
Hey. Hello.
Toby, what have you been watching?
So I've only seen 2 films this week. I've watched the Truman Show, which is Jim Carrey's film back in the mid-2000s, where he's basically born into a world where, well, this world, but they're filming his every second of his life without him even knowing it. So literally, yeah, he's every single thing is being filmed. He's in a town where everyone is actually actors. The public are actors. The lady playing his wife is, pretending to be his wife, and it's kind of weird. It's a very cool concept, but it is kind of weird. And then,
had you seen it before?
No, so I've.
This is your first time.
My first time as well.
Oh, it's your first time as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a big Jim Carrey fan, and I've wanted to see this film for ages. So as soon as it went on Netflix, I was really happy it did. And yeah, I think without ruining it, well, I mean, he does, find out that he's in this show, but I won't ruin the ending. But I thought it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it, and it's funny. I thought it's not Jim Carrey being too over the top. It's much more dulled down character than his other work, like The Mask or Ace Ventura, for example. But yeah, overall, I thought the concept was great. You can see that it's dated. You can see it's not a recent film that's been made. And there's quite a few actors who I've seen from other films in there. I can't think of their names off the top of my head, but
your favourite from Ozark?
Jason Bateman, he's not in it.
No, Laura Linney.
Oh, Laura Linney. Sorry, yeah, she is in it. She plays his wife. But I think overall the concept's great. I really enjoyed it, and I think it had a very powerful ending, if I'm honest. So.
And we'll find out what Mr. Luke Davis thinks about it in just a moment.
Love music.
What's on in the theatres, both in and around High Wycombe, as well as the West End, plus the latest showbiz news. So take a seat, switch off your phones and let the show begin. That's Amy's musical soundtrack, Wednesdays from 7 here on Wycombe Sound.
This is Wycombe Sound.
Welcome back to Monday Movies here on Wycombe Sound. It's 20 to 8 coming up after the news at 8 o'clock. Stepping up to the oche and kicking off his show, it's Colin Besley.
Hey!
Good evening, Jonathan. Good evening, Luke. Good evening, Toby.
Evening, Colin.
Notice there's a bit of sport in the show tonight, Colin.
Yes, it'll be a show of two halves from me later as well.
Good, excellent.
The latest on that is...
I'm trying to listen to Luke's talking, but I can't hear him.
The latest on that is that it's Portsmouth Oxford has gone to penalties.
Oh.
Again. So, yeah. So Wycombe's game was just getting further postponed.
Or penalised, as I once heard a very poor journalist say.
Wow, okay. Yeah, so currently it's meant to kick off at 7:45. I'm guessing it's probably going to be more 8.
Okay. Anyway, so Colin will have details of that during his show, but what else is on the show, Colin?
Well, we'll be hearing from Simon Mason, who I caught up with on Fridays, mere morning. He's from the Comedy Store, and they're providing the comedy for a drive-in event at Henley on Saturday, which should be very, very good. And they're doing lots of online stuff as well, so you can literally bring the Comedy Store to your own home and enjoy some great online content. So they've recorded their shows. It's not like comedians who are doing it without an audience, so it's proper comedian and an audience combo. So that'd be very good. And then, when your dad says to you, "I know someone who make a good guest for your show." Find out how that came off with David Smith, who apparently someone Dad used to work with and has a connection to Iron Maiden. If you knew what my dad used to do for a living, it was nothing to do with that.
Okay, I went with Iron Maiden on their jumbo jet to Cannes once.
Really?
Really?
With Bruce Dickinson in the pilot seat.
Wow, that's very showbiz.
Yeah, thank you. For the day, we flew over in the morning, went to see a film they produced.
Were you part of the cabin crew?
No. I was VIP guest.
I was going to say, what was your role?
Nice.
Yeah. Flew over in the morning, went into Cannes, had lunch on the Croisette, went to see their film, went back to the airport, flew back.
Rock and roll.
On that big jet with the big logo across the side.
Yeah.
What film was it?
Oh, it was some terrible horror film that they'd produced about... What's the name of that guy who used to be the... famous old guy who used to... No. He's Crowley. His surname is Crowley.
Good.
Mr.
And he used to be a devil worshipper somewhere in Britain. And they made a film about him, which was terrible. But of course, on the plane on the way back, we all had to say, "Oh, it was fabulous. We loved it."
What a great film.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
anyway, sorry, Colin,
job,
carry on.
it?
No, it's a brilliant anecdote, though. No, that's it, really. That's all for me. And we'll obviously keep you up to date with the football and hopefully speak to Bob afterwards as well, post-match.
Yeah. Excellent.
Wickham have just gone out the tunnel, but still...
Is that really sports news?
Portsmouth and Oxford still haven't finished.
Well, time to get back in their tunnel.
Okay,
Colin, thank you very much. That's Colin Besley.
Good to talk to you. Have a good rest of your show.
Chatsworth after the news at 8 o'clock.
Hopefully we won't go to extra time.
Well, hopefully for you, we won't. No. Who knows? We might.
Why not? Everyone else is doing it tonight.
Let's do it. Luke, we left on a... I was just about to say we left on a coat hanger, but we didn't. We left on a cliffhanger before the break.
I think we left on a coat hanger, if I'm honest.
Because we need to know what you thought of The Truman Show.
Well, I agree with nearly everything Toby said.
Nearly.
I thought it was very good. I thought Jim Carrey was brilliant. All the other actors and actresses as well. I thought the plot was great.
I feel a butt coming on.
I feel that, as Toby says, a great plot line. When did the film come out?
Oh, quite a while ago.
I feel like
mid-2000s, I think. Maybe?
No, before that.
Was it the 90s?
I would think it was the 90s.
I'm
not sure. I'll check for you. Carry on.
I feel like someone watched that and went, Big Brother. But the
1998.
Someone definitely stole the idea for Big Brother. The only bit that I did not like, and actually I was very loud with my thoughts on this, was the ending.
Okay.
They built it. I won't say, if you haven't watched. I mean, actually, if you haven't watched it yet, come on. They built up to how I thought it was going to end with two characters, running, and then it just stops.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, but what now?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, to be honest, I did want it to be longer.
I
did want there to be more, but I still enjoyed the ending. Yeah, I agree. I wish there was a bit more.
Even if it was just the two characters meeting up and hugging, and then it fades then. Because I feel like where they left it, there's still like, well, what happens when he goes out the door? Or, how is she going to get to him? Or all these questions. And I'm just like, I was very, very loud with my thoughts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll watch it for next week because it's on my Netflix queue, but I haven't watched it. But I did see it when it came out.
Breaking news.
20 years ago. Yes?
Oxford wins on penalties. Your thoughts, Duncan?
Is that right? Should we be applauding, or did we want the other team to win?
I don't.
Oxford are closer, aren't they?
It'll be a local derby, basically, if we.
There we go. So good. Yeah, Oxford. Well done, Oxford. Yes. Well done.
Colin, your thoughts very quickly as the actual sports person.
It sets up providing we can go through. Of course, it sets up a brilliant sort of local derby, as you say. Well, at Wembley, obviously, but yeah, I think if I'd have been pushed, I'd have preferred Portsmouth, but.
Good. Colin, you might also want to sort your sound card out. Hello, my name's
okay,
Colin
thank you.
Beasley. Colin Beasley.
It always worries me when that happens. I always think he's having a stroke. I get very concerned for Colin.
Yeah. But there you go.
Okay, that is The Truman Show. It's available for free on Netflix now. So next week, as it is now on Netflix, can we say, please, that we will all have watched Mission Impossible Fallout?
Probably.
Absolutely.
Yes, we will. Yeah.
Honestly, it's not much to ask you to watch
No,
one thing,
sorry.
is it? Toby, what was the other thing you'd watched?
Wimbledon. So this is
go.
a rom-com about Wimbledon, obviously, and it's a tennis player. The main character is I never remember his Jarvis.
Paul Bettany.
Thank you, Paul Bettany. He plays a tennis player, and he's basically about to retire, and he meets what is her name?
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. Thank you. He meets her character, and they kind of fall in love, and I mean, it's pretty predictable what happens, but I won't ruin it just in case. But overall, it's a film I saw. I think this actually did come out in the early 2000s, or mid 2000s, and I loved it back then, and I think it still dates quite well, and very, very English production. It's got Robert Lindsay in it. It's got James McAvoy, who plays his brother, who's really funny. I think it's cast really well. I think it's a great film. I can't think of any other tennis films that I've seen that focus so much on the sport.
Yeah.
Borg versus McEnroe, which is currently available on the iPlayer.
Oh, that's true. With
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not a romantic comedy. It's a true story about Borg versus McEnroe, but it's very, very good.
Toby,
Okay.
I
Is that
agree
Amazon
with you
Prime?
completely.
No, I think it's on the iPlayer.
Okay. Sorry, Luke.
I agree. I think Wimbledon's brilliant.
Yeah.
And here's
It is
Duncan
good.
to tell us we're wrong.
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong because I haven't watched it since it came out,
Right,
so I'd need to rewatch it. So let me rewatch that and Truman Show.
Yeah. Okay.
I can remember not being hugely impressed with Wimbledon when it came out.
I can't imagine you would be, but I like
Why
it.
not?
Toby likes
I love
it.
Love Actually.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Wickham have kicked
that's-
off.
Oh, have they? Why?
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't let them start.
No,
It's all
no,
kicked
they've
off.
started the game.
Oh, I see what you mean. They've started the game. Right. Yeah. Okay. I thought you meant it all kicked off. Well, hopefully they'll score a goal in the next 10
Come on,
minutes. So
Wickham.
that we can. Come on,
Score
Wanderers.
I mean, I'm near enough to the ground. I'll just shout out the window.
Yeah, why don't you?
Yeah.
Enunciate your thoughts. That's Wimbledon, which is available on Netflix now. Luke, nothing else from you, was there? No.
Other than the Truman
Oh.
Show, and I've seen more of New Girl, and I like it. It's really good.
Oh, I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. What about you, Duncan? What
Duncan,
have
what
you
have you
been
been
watching?
Well, so nice of you to ask. Quite a few things, actually. We'll start off with there's a little film on Netflix called Freaks, which I read a good review about, but I didn't read what the plot was. And I went in knowing absolutely nothing about it. It's
That can be a good thing.
It is a very good thing. It's a strange little sci-fi horror thriller starring Emil Hirsch. He plays a father who appears to be keeping his 7-year-old daughter captive in a house because something has gone wrong with the world outside and freaks are around and they are causing problems. To say any more would spoil it.
Right.
It's a 90-minute film. If you go in blind, not knowing anything about it, it's a real treat. It's like an episode of The X-Files crossed with a bit of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. crossed with some horror. It's just a nice little film, well acted. It's got Bruce Dern in it, who's obviously an Oscar winner, Laura Dern's father. Some neat little special effects. Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise.
Thumbs up.
Yes, 2 thumbs up
Two
for
thumbs
Freaks on Netflix. You can't put thumbs up because you haven't seen it.
No, but from you is what I mean.
Oh, I can't put 3 up.
No, I said 2 though. 2 thumbs up.
Oh, I
meaning
thought you
from
said
you.
3. Sorry, I do apologise. So yeah, it's called Freaks. I think it came out theatrically on a very limited release at the start of the year, like 10 screens or something.
Right.
But it's worth seeking out if you like interesting science fiction. And
If you like freaks.
if you like Freaks,
You'll love
yes, it's quite a misleading title. Let's put it
Okay.
that way.
Okay.
It's more, yeah.
What would you call it?
Oh, I don't know, because the misleading title was quite nice because it wasn't what I expected. You know,
Okay.
had they called it, what they could have called it, which I won't call it because it will give it away.
Right. Okay.
You'd just go, oh, it's a film about that.
That,
but
right. Okay.
Calling it Freaks was quite clever. Yeah, it's good. check it out.
Check it.
Why don't you? New on Sky Atlantic, started last week, is Penny Dreadful. I don't know if you saw the original Penny Dreadful, which starred James Bond, whose name
Daniel Craig?
No, Timothy Dalton.
Right.
It starred Timothy Dalton and Eva Green, who obviously was in James Bond as well. And it was based around the Penny Dreadful stories, and it was set in Victorian England, and it had all the monsters from sort of Universal kind of who turned up in this one big story. And it was really good. It ran for about 4 seasons, then it was cancelled. It's from the writer of Skyfall and Spectre. He created it and writes it. And so this is a new series, but it's called Penny Dreadful City of Angels. So it's moved to the 1930s in Los Angeles, and it's about 2 angels who seem to be... I've only watched the first episode, which was last week. It seems to be about 2 angels who are competing for the lives of the people who are living in Los Angeles. It touches on, because this is a time when the Hispanics are moving into Los Angeles and taking over lots of areas. So it's quite... a timely film, because it's about race relations and stuff like that, as well as the fantasy element and the horror. The first episode was quite interesting, although I'll be honest, it looked a bit cheap.
Okay.
The original Penny Dreadful looked like it had a big budget. It was all filmed, I think it was filmed in Ireland, but set in London, and it looked fantastic. This just looks a little bit naff in places. So, but we're going to stick with it.
You're going to go with it.
The premise was quite good, and it stars Nathan Lane in one of the leading roles.
How long is it? Did you say?
How long?
Yeah, like
an hour.
An hour. Okay.
Oh, I see. How many?
How many
episodes? I think it's 8 episodes.
Okay, so not too bad.
No, not too much, and it was interesting enough in the first episode that I'm going to give it another go.
Nearly half of Hamilton.
Okay.
Sorry?
Nearly half of Hamilton. 8 hours.
Yes, it's funny because you get the interval in Hamilton, and it's before the halfway mark, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a minute long. I don't know why they put. I
think they put that in just to give you the
the feel.
The feel, yes. Also watched Us again on Sky Store.
Us?
Yes, I've watched Us again on Sky Store. Toby, you saw this, didn't you?
I did. It's funny actually because it was coming out, and I said I haven't seen anything for the show next week, and I loved Get Out, which was the same director, and it was his next film. So I thought, oh great, this will be a bit weird, bit interesting. And I said to my sister, look, I'm going to the cinema tonight. Do you want to come? And she was like, yeah, okay, sure. And obviously,
is that your impression of her?
Yeah,
she's quite camp, isn't she?
Yeah, okay.
And,
yeah, right. Sure, love to. Just put some lippy on.
And it's not your average film. It's a very deep concept, parallel kind of personality universe thing. I can't really describe it, but yeah, basically it's really not a straightforward film at all, and it's very dark and it's very weird, and I did enjoy it, but it kind of took me by surprise as well. And my sister was like, "Yeah, I'm not sure about that one."
Oh, she's gone butch, hasn't she?
She's all over the place.
Crikey.
But overall, I really did enjoy it. There's a song called "I've Got 5" on it, and it's kind of stripped down in the soundtrack for this film. And every time I hear it, I just think of that film and that creepy part of the film. But overall, it is very weird, but it's good.
Yes, I loved it. I saw it at the cinema. I thought it was better than Get Out. I thought it was just as good.
Not sure I'd agree with that.
Well, you'd be wrong. And watching it now, because of everything that's going on with Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, it seems even more relevant than it was when I watched it the first time. I thought it was really good. It holds up very well on the small screen. Rob Lesperance, dear old Rob, was asking for recommendations from Netflix. So if he hasn't watched it, and if we don't finish this, we can carry it on into the podcast. I have been watching Dark, which is on Netflix. There are 3 seasons. The 3rd season dropped last week. And I remember watching the first episode about a year ago, and for some reason not carrying on watching it. And because everybody I know who's watched it said it's really good, we decided to start again, and we've nearly finished the first season. So it's a German Netflix original series. It's a science fiction-ish. It's about a small German town called Winden, where a small boy goes missing. Later, another boy goes missing, and we find out that 33 years before that, another boy goes missing. And then you get introduced to all the characters in the town who, a bit like Twin Peaks, aren't quite what they seem, and everyone's sort of related to each other, or they've all got interactions with each other, which means they're all connected. And it starts off as a sort of police procedural missing persons, then it turns into a time travel, parallel universes. It's really, really clever. The one thing I will say is we're on episode 7 of the first season, and I really feel I need to start a spreadsheet.
Right. Oh, I saw you tweet about this.
Yeah, to keep track of who is who in which time zone, because it did start in one time zone, then we got 2 time zones. We've now moved into 3 different time zones with the same characters in a lot of them, and it's becoming very... No, and a friend of mine says, if you think it's confusing now, wait till you get onto season 3.
Right.
Because it really, really gets confusing. It is so well made. When it came out, people said it was like the German version of Stranger Things.
Okay.
I personally think this is better than Stranger Things because watching Stranger Things, I don't think they have an end in mind or ever had an end in mind. Right. But this, you can tell from the way it's structured and the way it's made, this was planned as 3 seasons. They know what the end is going to be, and they're going to take you there one step at a time. It's really good. The acting is really good. I would suggest don't watch it with the dubbing, watch it with the subtitles though.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, is that put you off in any way? Because when my friends have watched this and they've pitched it to me so many times, and it's on my list, but they said, yeah, but it is, it's not in English, and I don't know why.
Subtitles never put me off. No, I don't mind subtitles. The series it reminds me of most, which no one would have watched, which was on BBC 2, was a French series called The Returned, which was about a town in France where everybody disappeared, and then one day they all just walk back into the town. And it was a really creepy 2
Sounds
series.
Like Endgame.
It was really, really good, really enjoyable. I don't think you can watch that anywhere. That doesn't seem to be on any platform. But Dark, there are only 3 seasons. I think it's 10 episodes in the first season, 8 episodes in the second 2. So, Rob, there is your Netflix recommendation. It's called Dark. There we go. That's it for this week.
Very quickly, 0-0 still.
0-0 still. Of course it is. They'll score at 3 minutes past 8 when we're gone.
It's 4-1 on aggregate to Wickham.
Aggregate, yes. Okay. We will be back next week where we will have watched Mission Impossible Fallout.
Ooh.
And maybe, Luke, you will have watched some more Mission Impossibles because you've never watched any of them, apparently.
Who knows?
Because some of it might be a bit confusing if you haven't watched any of the ones before it.
If I can find the first one, I'll watch it.
It's not the first one so much. It's the 2 before this one that you need to watch, I think. But yeah.
But also, there might be a recap on YouTube or something, maybe.
That's also
like a 10-minute video. So.
Yeah. Okay. Toby, Luke, thank you very much.
Thank you, Duncan.
We'll be back at the same time next week, 7 o'clock, for another Monday Movies when we talk about Mission Impossible and whatever else we've been watching. Colin Besley is up after the news with Chatsworth, and don't forget he will also keep you updated with the football, and he'll speak to Bob for a roundup. It's 0-0 at the moment. Now, with the time approaching 8 o'clock, it's time to go over to the Sky Newsroom for the latest national and international news headlines. You're listening to Wickham Sound online on Radio Player and on 106.6 FM.
National